Welcome to my channel, Real Talk with Dr. Irie. Yep, that's me, Dr. Irie Session. Today I have a subject that I want to talk about that is not going to be easy, might not be easy to hear, might not be easy to process, but I think it is a subject that is very important that we need to talk more about. But before we get into that, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Just go down right below and you'll see the subscribe button. Please click that button, and also up top to the right there is a bell. Go ahead and click that bell. Every time someone subscribes to my channel and clicks that bell, it alerts me that I have a new subscriber. So I would appreciate if you do that. That way you can keep up and know when I post something, know when I upload a new video or when I go live. And I want to hear your thoughts about what I'm bringing to YouTube. I want to hear your thoughts about the topics. Well, tonight I want to talk about what it means to be a mother, what it means to be a black mother, what it means to be a black mother of a daughter, and what it means to be a mother who is a survivor of childhood sexual abuse raising a daughter. Now, my daughter is 25 years old. She's going to be 26 in December. She doesn't want me to talk about that, but I'm happy that she's doing so well and making space and making her own name for herself in the world. But I want to say, as a survivor of childhood sexual abuse and even physical abuse, I was really afraid to have a daughter. Now, it's not that boys don't get abused and boys don't get molested, because of course they do. In fact, 1 out of 6 boys, research says, is sexually abused by the time they're 18. For girls, it's 1 out of 3 girls. Now, that's girls in general, but research suggests that for black girls, the rates of sexual abuse, child abuse, are even greater than 1 out of 3. In fact, years ago, I read a study by Dr. Gail Elizabeth Wyatt, who suggested that 1 out of every 2.5 black girls is sexually abused and will be by the time they reach their 18th birthday. And so, as a survivor, raising a daughter, having a daughter, was real scary for me. In fact, I didn't want to have a girl because I was just terrified that similar things that happened to me would happen to her as well. And so, that I think that's a normal fear. But what I want to suggest is that for those moms out here who are black women, who are survivors of trauma, of particularly sexual trauma, one of the most important things that you can do for your daughter is to get help for yourself. Yes, is to address your own trauma, is to address your own sexual abuse and molestation, incest, rape, whatever traumatic sexual violence you experienced. The best thing you can do for your daughter is to deal with your own trauma. This came to my mind because I was reading a post on YouTube about it's a show, I think, that comes on OWN, and it's about black women, and they were talking on the show, and I was reading a comment that one of the sisters had made who was watching the video, and she was lamenting of how she did not have a mom who talked to her about sexual issues, who didn't create space for her to share her emotions and to share a lot of things that were going on in her life. And so she basically had to fend for herself. And that got me to thinking about her mother, actually, that, it could have been that her mom herself had experienced some trauma in particular some sexual trauma. And so it made it difficult, probably impossible, for her mother to give her the kind of nurturing and the kind of love and attention and affection that she needed because her mom's own needs had not been met. And so that got me to thinking. And so I figured that I would do a YouTube talk on that, on Black mothers particularly. And I lift up Black mothers because often in our communities, we do not seek therapy. We do not seek counseling from professional, licensed therapists, psychotherapists to the same degree that white women do. And so we find ourselves often in situations where the cycle of abuse and victimization gets repeated. Now, we'll call it something like generational curses, but those generational curses often occur, or we perpetuate the victimization because we did not get help. We did not seek counseling and we did not seek therapy because there's so many stereotypes around counseling in the Black community. There's so many misconceptions in the Black community regarding therapy. And so, and then there's matters of insurance that many of our people find themselves, uninsured and unable to pay for therapy. Or they may not know of good therapists. They may not even know where to go or who to go to. And so I know that there are barriers. There are barriers that prevent our people. There are barriers that prevent Black women from getting counseling. But I'm telling you that it can make a world of difference in not only your life as a Black woman, but also in the life of your daughter. And I have no doubt in my mind that one of the key reasons that my daughter and I have the wonderful, amazing relationship that we do is because of the therapy that I received before she was born and even once she got here. And even throughout the years, as I have found it important and necessary to go back and get additional therapy because sexual trauma it has the ability to rob us of life, to rob us of our sense of joy, to rob us of creativity, to rob us of our self-esteem and self-compassion, right? And often people who, regardless of whether you're Black or white or Latinx or Asian or whatever, survivors of sexual abuse exhibit certain characteristics, right? Certain behaviors that make healthy relationships difficult, right? And so a cycle of bad relationships, of unhealthy partnering is perpetuated. And so, and we often have difficulty giving the attention and affection and time and love to our children that they need because we have so many unmet needs. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. There's a scripture that I think about, and it says, guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life, right? And what sexual abuse does, it has the capacity to hurt our hearts, to wound our hearts, to break our hearts, to damage that soul part of us, right? That enables us to love ourselves and to give love and to receive it. And until we deal with those things, we'll find ourselves sort of limping through life, not really flourishing, not feeling good about ourselves. And when I say flourishing, I'm not talking about like on your job, because, people may be successful, financially even successful, and have attained a certain amount of success professionally and still have woundedness within because of the trauma of childhood sexual abuse. And so I just wanted to encourage you, if you're out there and if you have never sought counseling for the trauma, if you think like a lot of people think, well, I'm doing okay, I'm doing all right, I'm not in jail, I'm not on drugs, I'm not an alcoholic, right? I'm not sexually promiscuous, whatever that means or looks like, right? And you have convinced yourself that you don't need to have some talk therapy, right? But deep down inside, you know you do. You know that right underneath the surface of your life, there's a possibility of a breakdown. You know in those quiet moments what you think and how you really feel about yourself. You know that, and you know that you had difficulty being in relationships. You know that you've had difficulty partnering, and you wonder what's wrong with you, and you wonder why do you keep attracting the wrong person, right? One of those reasons could be because you have not addressed, you have not done that deep soul work of healing from childhood sexual trauma. But you're not alone, right? Because there are millions of other people who have not. But that does not have to be how your story continues. You can get help. You can, they have so many therapy opportunities right now. In fact, there is a website, and it's called Therapy for Black Girls. Of course, it's not just for girls, it's for women too, where there are African American therapists that you can find that may be in your city that you can access, right? So go to therapyforblackgirls.com, right, and see if you find a therapist in your area that could help you, all right, or that could refer you maybe to someone in your area. But if you're a mom and if you're a survivor and you have a daughter, I know that you want the very best for her. I know that you want her to be healthy, and you want her to be able to love herself and to be able to love others, right, in ways that bring her joy and bring joy in the lives of other people. Well, then do her a favor and do yourself a favor and get help. Seek therapy, seek a counselor, talk to somebody about what happened to you. All right, peace. See you next time. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel, Real Talk with Dr. Irie. Now, go be great.